Hey folks, it's Nate Picos of Blambot, and today I'd like to talk to you about the slash and serif letter I's that are in comic book dialogue and what they're for. This tends to be the number one indication that someone is not quite up to par with their lettering yet when you see improper use of the different letter I's in their lettering. Let me give you some examples. Now, obviously, most comic book lettering is in all caps, and we've got two different versions of letter I. We've got a slash, and we've got the version with serifs. Now, the serif I is for personal pronouns pretty much exclusively. I, I'm, I'll, I've, I'd, but sometimes you'll see it in acronyms, FBI, World War II, etc. The slash I is for everything else. Now, the issues come about pretty much when lettering goes digital, and you need a place to put the two different I's. So traditionally, the uppercase I key becomes the I with serifs. The lowercase key becomes the slash I. Now, people who aren't well versed in comic book lettering and are just used to using regular fonts that are, sentence case, uppercase and lowercase characters, when they try to do something that looks like a comic book, they buy a comic book font and then they just mash on the caps lock because in their brain, caps lock equals caps. And then we end up with lettering with crossbar I's everywhere. This is incorrect. Except for the personal pronouns. I like, I'm just. This is the correct version. Slash I's where they belong, serif I's personal pronouns only. Now, you may think, oh, it's not a big deal, or who cares, or that's not true, I've never noticed that before. Well, go pick up a DC or Marvel comic and look at the lettering. You'll see this is the way it's done. And if you want to compete on that level, you're going to learn to have to do this. Now, you may have seen letterers complain that they get a script from a writer and they're writing their script in all caps. And it's not quite as huge of a problem maybe as we make it out to be. We like to complain, we're letterers. But it's because letterers copy and paste from a script. And so if I copy that and I paste it over here with a font, I get those serif I's everywhere, and it's incorrect. Whereas if the writer wrote it just in sentence case, I can copy and paste this over here, and everything turns out okay. Now, generally, letterers can just do a search and replace on these Word documents and fix everything ahead of time, but time is money. We don't like a whole lot of extra steps. Now, as an addendum to this, recent events in font technology, meaning OpenType, can now allow font designers to pre-program fonts so that the I's end up in the right place no matter what you're copying and pasting in or what you're typing. It's going to fix it for you. Now, I've done so far two of these fonts, Invulnerable and this font right here, Collect Them All. So no matter what, if I copy and paste this uppercase, or even if I just started typing in uppercase all characters, the I's would correct themselves. See, if I paste, even though I typed it, even though what I copy and paste was all caps, the slash I's are in the correct place, the serif I's are in the correct place. And hopefully as we move forward, all comic book fonts will be like this. And among other things, this font actually has 6 different versions of every letter, and multiple versions of numbers, and multiple versions of punctuation to all make it look more organic. So there's a lot of new tricks that can be applied to comic book fonts. But in the meantime, while we still have a lot of older style fonts out there, and they're still great and we still use them, now you know the difference between the serif I and the slash I.